Hello and welcome to Butter Movies. Something happened to Monty Miller, John Hamm, at the end of Landman Season 1, Episode 9, but it's not entirely clear whether he lived or died. As the head of Tommy Norris's Billy Bob Thornton oil company, MTE, Monty is one of the most important characters in Landman. He makes big decisions about which wells to dig, which rigs to work over, and his story brings the high-stakes business side of the oil industry. He also finds himself on the giving end of the Arihan-Paulina Chavez settlement, which, alongside the massive payout, causes his third heart attack. By the end of Landman Season 1, Episode 9, it seemed like Monty was planning to make some major changes due to his heart issues. He named Tommy as the new Vice President of Operations for MTEX, offered Rebecca Kayla Wallace the job of Vice President of Exploration, and even said he was going to step back from the job to spend more time with Kami Demi Moore and his family. However, those changes seemingly weren't enough, as Monty's heart rate spiked, and he looked physically uncomfortable just before the episode ended. It's not clear what happened to Monty, but Landman did hint at his fate. Based on how Monty's heart rate spiked and the visible pain he was in, it looks like he may be either dying or dead. In Landman Episode 9, Monty himself said he had a busted, rotten heart, and the constant stress of managing a multi-billion-dollar oil company wasn't helping. His increased heart rate and physical discomfort could be a sign that he was having yet another heart attack immediately after his third bypass, which would be catastrophic for his health. If Monty didn't already die from his heart complications, he's almost certainly at death's door. Another hint in Landman Episode 9 suggests Monty isn't long for this world. The morning after his heart rate increased, Tommy got a call from Kami that didn't go well. While Landman didn't reveal exactly what Kami said, Tommy's response of, "I'm sorry to hear that. What can I do? Is there any way I can help?" seems to indicate that Monty is dead. On top of that, the coyote Tommy saw getting shot at the end of the episode is heavily symbolic, possibly a metaphor for Tommy taking Monty's place at MTEX. If Landman did, in fact, kill off Monty, there are a few reasons the show may have decided to take John Hamm's character out in the first season. Although Taylor Sheridan has an uncanny ability to secure major stars for his shows, the role of Monty may not have been big enough to keep Hamm around. Monty is a side character in Tommy's story, and Hamm may have only agreed to do a single season in a supporting role. It's also possible that Monty dying in Landman Season 1 helped convince Hamm to take the part, ensuring he wouldn't be roped into a multi-year role. Aside from the possible behind-the-scenes reasons, Monty's death also opens up a wealth of new narrative options. For most of Landman Season 1, Monty has been establishing how difficult and stressful the financial side of the oil industry is. If he died, and Tommy had to take over that aspect of MTEX, Landman would have the perfect way to raise the stakes for a new season. Monty's death due to stress from his work, coupled with Jerry Jones' cameo in Landman, also creates a great foil for Tommy's struggle to balance work and family. Monty's death, if it did happen, would have far-reaching effects on Landman. Monty was single-handedly managing MTEX's corporate side, and someone else, likely both Rebecca and Tommy, given their recent promotions, will have to fill that role. This also means Tommy and Rebecca will be working even closer than ever, which will give them ample opportunities to butt heads again. As VP of Operations, and without Monty to fall back on, Tommy's job will get even more stressful and demanding, setting up Landman Season 2 to be even more intense. Tommy's expanded role in MTEX's leadership could also impact other Landman characters. Angela, Ali L., for example, already complains about how much Tommy works, and those complaints won't go away now that he's a vice president. Cooper's Jacob Lattimore decision to start his own oil company will also put him in direct competition with MTEX, which should add new strain on the Norris family. Even Kami could have more to do in the next installments of Landman. She could either take a bigger role in MTEX or figure out what to do without Monty around. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones swings by Monty's hospital room to impart some wisdom about how Monty should spend more time with his kids. He uses his own example of buying an NFL team and employing his children, which doesn't seem like a super replicable model. But who am I to say? After he leaves, Monty seems hesitant to take the older man's advice. He blames his third coronary bypass procedure on a bum heart, not the stress of his business, and worries that he'd have no purpose if he retired. That said, he reluctantly tells Tommy, "I am planning on stepping back and making you vice president of operations," but with a twist he's also offering. A VP spot for exploration is offered to Rebecca, who Monty calls the shrewdest negotiator I've ever seen, and an absolute killer. Despite Tommy's protests, Monty suggests he learn to work with her because she's sticking around. Ariana feels spooked when Cooper starts talking about their shared future, given that they've only kissed a few times and things are still so weird. She tells him to focus on his own life, but he responds saying, "I have a dream but don't know if I have the courage to chase it. Just for me." He adds that he's already risked his life and quit his job for her because he's in love with her. "You want proof that I won't quit?" he asks, lifting his shirt to show her the giant purple bruise across his chest. "My body is my proof. I took one look at you and I fell. And I'm still falling." She starts kissing him, but then the doorbell rings, interrupting them once again. She grumbles that God is begging us not to do this. After dispatching the door-to-door salesman, she climbs on top of Cooper and declares they're going to find out if they truly have chemistry. Then, her son starts crying from his crib. This is God's last warning. "If you don't take it, you're stuck with me," she quips as they continue kissing. Cooper is more than okay with that. Tommy returns home from seeing Monty to find that Angela has made Pella an invited Ryder to stay for dinner. Just like in episode 5, Tommy makes a big fuss about how Angela went over the top with her expectations for the meal. When they talk about it outside, he tells her he's happy to have her do whatever she wants, dinner-wise, as long as he doesn't have to participate. "I think we're supposed to side with him on this, but do whatever you want. But don't expect me to take part is a bummer of a thing to hear from your partner." Landman episode 9 ends with an interesting sequence where Tommy is standing in his backyard after presumably hearing the news of Monty's death. He looks to be contemplating when he sees a coyote out in the field beyond the yard. He studies it for a moment before the neighbor comes out and shoots it with a rifle for preying on her pets. There's important symbolism here, and the coyote's death connects it to Tommy's narrative in the coming episodes. It wasn't even the societal norms that bugged me about their relationship as much as the trauma they both shared. I thought their relationship could only be unhealthy because they both had such fresh trauma that they hadn't properly processed. Ariana lost her husband and the father of her child, while Cooper watched 3 men die and was nearly beaten to death. It didn't seem like a great foundation for a healthy relationship. I thought Cooper and Ariana's romance should have waited until season 2 so they could have more time to grieve. A pair of young people who are simply clinging to each other to avoid thinking about a traumatic event don't have a realistic view of the future. If Cooper and Ariana were just trying to block out their pain, she wouldn't have even entertained the idea that Cooper might not love her. But Landman has convinced me that Ariana and Cooper are more than capable of handling their relationship in a mature way. I agree with Ariana that it's worth figuring out, even if they end up realizing it was a mistake down the line. Now, I think their relationship is at least worth exploring. Ariana's explanation of their relationship made their story going forward in Landman much easier to understand. They're not just 2 kids stupidly falling in love at the wrong time. They're 2 adults trying to make sense of a whirlwind situation. Likewise, if Cooper gets targeted by Manuel and Antonio's friends again, it won't be the result of a mistake. It will be the result of a conscious decision to give their relationship a chance, despite the odds. I think their relationship just got a lot more compelling, and I fully support whatever Landman has in store for Cooper and Ariana. Ryder takes Anley on a date to go swimming in a reservoir, lit by the gas flare from a nearby oil derrick. She decides that she likes him and that she's going to test him. So, she brings him to the nursing home, where she and her mom have been volunteering, and she's delighted when he enthusiastically plays a game with some of the residents. She confides in one of the older women that she wanted to make sure Ryder was interested in her for more than just sex. The hour seems like a turning point for their relationship,